the last thing we need is another lawyer, but the first thing we need is another happy human. What's up, y'all? It's your girl D Marie back for another episode of It's Just D Marie the podcast. And as I have been promising you for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks now, I'm back with the girls, Crystal and Abby. Yeah, we got a little reunion episode like I have promised you for a very long time. So I'm super excited about that. How y'all feeling today?
Good.
Hi.
What's up?
What's going on?
How's it been? How's everybody?
Amazing.
I'm great. Living the dream.
Good. Glad to hear it. Okay. All right. So listen, it's been a long time since we all been in the same space with the mics and whatnot. It's been years, actually. Because when was our last, besides the one that we recorded that we never aired, because it was like an hour and a half long. When's the last time we hung out and did the things?
Was it 2020?
I think 2020 was when we started it.
I don't remember.
It's been at least 2 years.
At least we had to do some research. I don't know when our last episode was.
Possibly even 2.5 years ago.
I would say at least. Because I've been in school since 2021.
But it's 2024.
Right.
It would have been 2021.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, so fill us in. Ab, you moved out here to Lena, so we're actually recording in her apartment right now, which is interesting. We haven't done that before. But we're in your crib, in your town. You moved out to Lena. Tell us all the things.
Yeah, so I did the craziest thing, picked up my whole life. Moved out of the city of Chicago to the small town that I grew up in and bought a business and opened a salon. And it has been a wild ride.
What's been the wildest part so far?
That's a really good question that I'm not sure I know how to answer, actually.
Okay, top 5.
Wildest things?
Yes.
I think if I had to pick, I think seeing your vision come to life right in front of you. That was pretty crazy. One of the top moments was my grand opening. That was wild. And then when you get to the realization that your business employs other people and gives them the ability to make money and live their dreams, it's really a crazy feeling. So I'm not going to give you 5. I'm going to give you those 2 or 3.
That. Those are a good 2 though.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
It's been crazy for sure. A lot goes on behind the scenes in salons that I don't think a lot of people realize. There's a lot to make it go. And it is equally as difficult and rewarding all at the same time.
I definitely think a lot of people underestimate how hard running a business is. And like a lot of us, especially in the beauty space, want to get into running, owning. Everybody wants to be their own boss, but like the work and stress is really underestimated. Would you agree?
Yes. You don't ever get to shut it off.
Yeah.
And even if you want to shut it off, you can't. Your brain, I believe that entrepreneurs' brains don't work that way. Unless there is some secret that I am not aware of, but you can shut it down and still not be able to actually mentally shut it down, because you're always thinking of new ideas or something that needs to be done or something that needs to be tweaked. All of those kind of different aspects of running and owning a business, how you can make it better, how you can improve. And so your brain just never stops.
Yeah. And Crystal, you've actually been in a really similar place. You opened a business, 3 years ago, almost exactly now?
Yeah,
right?
It was 3 years ago on Went Thursday. 3 years.
How's that been for you? Are you feeling some of the same growing pains Abby is?
Absolutely. A lot of it is the not being able to shut off the brain part, right? Like I find myself in this place of like I'm always exhausted, but I'm not necessarily physically exhausted. It's mentally exhausted. Like I'm thinking about what I have to do, the orders, the whatever specials, like creating a new service, like all of that. It gets to be a lot. So definitely feeling some of that as well. But it's also great, and I wouldn't trade it.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever be employed by anyone else ever again.
Yeah, I don't, it doesn't sound amazing.
It's not. That's why it doesn't sound amazing.
Like I want to do things when I want to do them, like on my time, you know?
I think there's a time and a place for sure, and I think that traditional work culture is great for some people. I'm just not one of those people.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
There's that saying, you know, I didn't want to work a 9 to 5, so I started my own business, and now I work 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true. I don't want to work anybody's 9 to 5. I will work for me all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And it does never stop. Never shuts off. Even now, and my clients have been texting me today. It's a Sunday. Like I'm trying so hard not to answer them because you need a little bit of time for yourself. But at the same time, I kind of still do want to answer them because it's my business.
You need the monies.
Yeah.
As you always.
And you want to like, it's not even about that part so much as like the level of customer service. Like my guests, I always want them to feel important, and they are. But also like my mental health is important. So I can't answer you at 8 a.m. on a Sunday. I could, but I shouldn't, you know? So there's that.
What do you think has been like your biggest learning curve? Like where do you think that you kind of underestimated what it was going to take, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, here's the work?
I don't think I have one place that's like that. I think it's everything. You know, I jumped in without really doing any research or like knowing exactly all of the things that it would take to do any of it. Like I didn't stop to consider, I don't know, supplies or keeping track of things, or, you know, hiring an accountant, or what licensure would all be needed and what those things might be. Like I just have been fumbling my way through it. So I think it's pretty much everything, you know, like I just learned by doing. So that's what I've been doing for 3 years.
You know, there's a really well-known quote that I often find to be very true, and I don't know who said it. I'd have to look it up, but it says, ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice.
Ooh. True.
You know, it's kind of that like ignorance is bliss. Sometimes when you know too much, you start to second guess yourself and your steps and what you're going to do than just like diving in with 2 feet. And sometimes it just is better that way.
Yeah. I'm an all or nothing kind of girl. I think we're similar in that regard, right? Like either I'm doing it or I'm not doing it. I can't half do it because it doesn't work for me. I'm either committed or I'm not. And so, yeah, I don't really take the time to, you know, like do all the research. I will say this. Whenever I decided to leave my full-time job, because I had my business and I was working my business essentially part-time for the first year, I met with a friend of mine who is a financial advisor and said like, okay, based on all these numbers, when do you think I can quit my job and just work for me? And she did whatever magical calculations that she does. And she said, based on this, you can quit your job in about 2 years. And I went home and cried and said, no, like I can't. I either have to like do it now or just not do it. So I quit my job like a week later. And I mean, it was the greatest thing. Not without struggle, but all in or all out.
Would that be your advice for somebody who, Like, would that be your advice for like a startup entrepreneur as well? Or do you think that's just kind of how you work?
Honestly, I would say, yeah, like just do it. Like just start. Abby's quote, the messy action. Like I think about that all the time. Messy action over no action. Just do it. You're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same for you?
Yes. Yeah, I think as long as
Yes.
When you're really passionate about something, you tend to just figure it out. And I think that that's one thing that the three of us have always had in common. The passion has never lacked. Sometimes the knowledge to get there isn't always there, but we always just figure it out. And you know, one of the things that I have always done is read a ton about how the most successful people in the world became the most successful people in the world. And if I looked at, you know, this slew of books and things that I have read and listened to and researched, one of the most common things has always been messy action. They just start. Because the reality of the situation is when you go into any type of a business, and by no means am I an expert at this at all, you realize that every single day something is going to come up and you're just going to have to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be committed to the long game, because nothing is ever going to be perfect. And when you think something is going to be perfect, a dryer is going to break, a light bulb is going to go out, a tool, you know, there's always going to be something. There's always going to be a bump in the road. You could have this perfect business plan, and the next day something could come up that you have to figure out, and you're going to be stuck figuring out, well, shit, this wasn't on my business plan. How do I figure this out now? I didn't have this down. I wasn't prepared for this. You're never going to be fully prepared. You just figure it out.
I was just watching, you guys know I'm a nerd for like masterclass and mind Bailey and stuff, and I was watching My Way to Come Get You yesterday, Mark Cuban's masterclass, and he was talking exactly about that most people just never get started, and they're so caught up in their head that they don't get started. But also, like, you can't be married to what's on your business plan. Even if you make one and you make a great one and it feels so 100% true today, like by the time you get to that part and actually implement that like you may have to pivot and move in a way that's not called for in a business plan, and you just have to. You cannot be married to the vision of the thing. You have to like mirror the reality, essentially, like not dating potential, right? Like we were talking about earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. And not getting caught up in that perfectionism, you know? Because one thing that I really didn't... One thing where I struggled a lot in the very beginning is that I thought that whatever I did was like, it had to always be, or if I wasn't doing it, it could never be. And so when I opened my business, I had no intention of doing facials. Just was like, I love them, right? But it wasn't part of my plan. And then I added them on, and I just like was really torn about it, because I said, like, I don't know if I really want to offer these forever. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was like, girl, you can add and subtract things all the time, whenever you want to. It's your business. And I don't know what about that gave me permission, but I was like, oh, I can do, like, I can, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to be stuck with whatever I thought my plan was. So yeah, making sure not to get caught up.
Well, and I think we can both agree that with a couple years of owning a business under our belt in this specific type of way, right? Because we've all been business owners for the last several years. I had a freelance business in Chicago, but this is my first like brick and mortar type business. You can always pivot at any time. And we were just having this conversation last night that as your business meets where you thought you were going to go, it's okay to like continue to grow that vision. And if that means going down a different path, then that's okay too. Like you always have to be elevating yourself, and that also means the elevation of your business along with it. Like, things can change, and that doesn't mean that anything went wrong. It just means that your business is growing, and now you have new needs that need to be met.
But you know what I mean? Like, that's life. Like, if like I was telling, you know, I mean, a lot of this, I talk about a lot of this with the people that I life coach, right? Like, just get started. Missing the action is better than no action. Like, imposter syndrome is fake, right? Because everyone has it, even the people that you look up to, right, are wildly successful. Like, at some point, they just decided to jump into action and get moving. And I think that there's this impression that, like, by the time you do the thing, you have the thing figured out. Instead of the truth of the matter is, like, everybody's trying to unfold their parachute on the way down. And what you see is the open parachute, but you don't see them falling out of the plane. You know what I mean? Do you guys feel like you've got your parachute open yet?
I don't know.
That's so quiet.
I'm like, does the parachute open mean that, like, I've done it? Like, it's the thing? Like, it's what you look for?
Do you feel like you're not falling anymore?
Oh, no, I'm falling at a fast rate, friend. Like,
yeah.
my parachute might be broken. Yeah.
It's not. Well, you know what's funny, though, is because from the outside, it doesn't look like, and I think that's what I'm getting at. From the outside, I wouldn't say your parachute is not open. To me, it's like you're gliding already.
Do you know what I was equating myself to the other day? And I don't remember the exact conversation, but I think it was something about business. And this person was saying, like, oh, you really look like, you know, super calm and all the things. And I said, like, I'm a duck on the water. Like, up on the surface, you just see this duck floating around, but underneath, their little feet are paddling, and like. That little paddling feet is me inside all the time. So like, I might make it look a certain way, but it doesn't feel a certain way. Like, it doesn't match.
Yeah.
But just because I like present it to you, well, you know, in our industry as well, I could have had the worst morning ever. And recently I did have a worst morning ever. Tears and all, went to work, put my full face on, went to work, and smiled and laughed and joked with every single client. They had a great time. So did I. Nobody would ever know that I had a bad day. So I think, like, that's kind of always it, right? I always say it's dissociation, but I don't know if that's the right term. But I'm dissociating, you know?
I saw something the other day that really struck me on Instagram, and it said, if you see someone doing something and it looks effortless, it means that they have put a ton of effort behind it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And that is one thing that I don't think people realize. When I was traveling all the time as a national educator, people used to say, gosh, you make traveling look so easy. But, like, they didn't know how many times I had a mental breakdown in the middle of gate, 72C, because I literally could not get on one more plane.
Yeah.
You know, like, all I wanted to do was sleep in my own bed and, like, eat a home-cooked meal. But I made it look easy. And a lot of people make things look really easy, but it's because you are only seeing their highlights. You're only seeing the successes. You have no idea what's going on the back end.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're only seeing what we want you to see.
Correct.
Of course.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's not to say that most people who make things look easy are inauthentic in any way, but I think that socially, in society, we don't like to see the struggle until they have hit success, right? So to use your terms, a lot of times we don't want to see that you struggled getting the parachute on the way down until we know that you've landed safely.
Right.
Yes. Actually, as you were saying it, I was going to point out, like, it's just like when people ask you how you are, you know, it's not really a real question, right? Like, how are you? You're supposed to say, I'm great. How are you? Or fine. But you can't stop and say, like, well, I got a kidney stone and I can't pay my mortgage. So, and I find that, like, anytime I've reached that level of honesty with people, they're not ready for it. Like, they is bothersome to them. Like, they don't want to know that you struggled to get your parachute open. And that it was maybe really heavy on your back and, you know, you were 10 seconds from the ground and you thought you were going to just like crash land and, you know, splat. Like, they don't want to know that part. They want to know that you got on that plane, you jumped off with this parachute, and you had this beautiful rainbow parachute that just like brought you down to the ground, and now you're here telling them this wonderful tale.
And you know what's really interesting though is that is the struggle to get the parachute open is the part that's important to see, but it's the part we don't want to look at. Like, I don't want to follow you, I don't want to buy your thing until I know that you've landed safely. But actually what you need to know is that I'm shitting myself and I'm doing it anyway. That's what you actually need to understand. And that's the thing that is not that it's not like we don't want to watch it, but it's exactly what we should be watching.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because business ownership is not without struggle. I mean, anything worth it is not without struggle. Right. It's like, are you going to wake up and choose to do it every day or not? And what does that look like? Because, I mean, Abby, we've talked about it. Like, there are days where you just like, it's been so long. Like, it's been a long week. It's been a long month. And you're like pulling yourself out of bed and you're just like, oh, fuck. I gotta do this again. And it's like you get to do it again, right? Because it's like your dream and it's your job, and like there's no like loss of love for that, but it's still hard to make yourself do it sometimes. Yeah. Right? Like, and I don't think that there's no like handbook that says like, okay, on the days that you're struggling, you're gonna wake up, you're gonna, you know, rip yourself out of bed and make yourself a hot coffee. Like you just kind of like bump through it.
Yeah, and I think to tailgate off of that, like, I'll just throw myself to the sharks for a second. If you looked at my life from the outside, you would see that 2 years ago I made the decision to come back to somewhere where I said I was never going to come back to again. And I bought my mom's business, completely rebranded it, started over. There was a stylist walkout. Like, I literally started from scratch, and we've achieved things in 2 years that most people would say are impossible. And I have a very successful and thriving business, but what people don't see, number one, are the struggles that it took to get there and the struggles that I'll still have to go through to get it to the next level. But the other thing that they don't see is, I would say probably 50% of the week I miss my old life. I wonder if I made the right decision.
Yes.
I don't know if I fit here, but very clearly all the signs point to I'm supposed to be here, but that reason is not smack in the front of me every day. And so those are the types of things that you don't see.
And that fans the flames of your imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, touche.
Absolutely.
It's pretty gross to experience, you know?
But on a level of 1 to 10, is it worth it? 1, hell no, to 10, like, dream life.
15.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I do it over again every single day.
Every day, yeah.
I do some things differently.
Yes, because when you know better, you do better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
For sure. One thing that I always say is, like, I have this conversation with my clients a lot, is like, do I have any regrets in life, or do you guys have any regrets in life? And I always say no. There's nothing in this life that I 100% regret ever, because I believe that everything happens for a reason. However, if I could go back, given the wisdom that I have now, I would do things differently.
Yeah.
Some things, not all things, some things.
Okay, C-ball. Someone is dreaming of opening a spa. You, 1 year before you open, what do you tell them?
Can you repeat the question? Like, what?
If you had to give yourself 1 year before you open your spa advice, what would you go back and tell yourself 1 year before you got open?
Oh, shit. That it's all going to be cool. Like, just try anything and try everything. And also get a list of everything that you actually need and just check off that list. And I don't mean like products, I mean licensure, I mean insurance, like all those little things, because I feel like you don't always know, like there's like your state rules, and then there's like your town rules, and then there's just like all these rules. So I would say find out all the rules first, and then just go from there. There's really nothing else. I mean, there's probably tons of other things, but nothing else that comes to mind at the moment.
What about you, Ab? What would you tell yourself 1 year before you took the dive?
Be consistent. And if there's something that you don't know how to do, you either need to figure it out for yourself, or hire someone who has the expertise to tell you how to do that. Those are the two biggest things that I would say. Because there's going to be a lot of stuff that you don't know how to do, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. But there are people that are experts in that field. Lean on them, use them, hire them, pay them. Or if you have the time, sit down and try to figure it out for yourself.
Love it.
Yeah.
Any parting words of advice for our audience? And also, one thing I want to know, if you guys want an ELT reunion, if you guys want us back, you know what? I'm going to put up a poll question. That's going to be my question on Spotify for this episode. Do you want an ELT Crystal, Abby, and Dee reunion podcast again next season, or just as its own podcast? If so, let me know, because we could probably make that happen if you guys wanted to hear it again. Okay. Parting words of advice, wisdom, motivation, inspiration, any of the things. On you, Ab.
Ooh, can Crystal go first?
Tell the people where
they can find you go first.
I know, I'm having a brain moment. You have to go first.
All right. It's on you, Crystal. Hot seat.
Wow. What was it? Words of wisdom we want?
Yeah, motivation, inspiration, any type of closing words, and then where can the people find you?
Honestly, what I want to say is imposter syndrome is bullshit. You're never going to know everything. It's okay. You're going to figure it out. And like, really, no matter what, if you try and you fail, at least you tried, right? No regrets in that regard. Yeah, so those are my words of wisdom. And then if you want to come see me, talk to me, get a service, whatever, it's Crystal Baldazzo LLC on all social media. CrystalBaldazo LLC at whatever we're on. That's all.
I love the lean in at the end.
Mm-mm.
All right, you're on.
This better be good, by the way.
It is.
Yeah, okay.
So, one of the perks I think of working in the industry, and I'll make this real short, is getting to hear from a lot of different people and a lot of different people's perspectives and their experiences on life. And if there's one thing that I can always tell people based on my own life experience and everyone else's collectively that I hear, the biggest thing that I hear is at the end of the day, none of the other bullshit matters. The only thing that matters in your life, no one is going to remember the car you drive, the number on the scale, the size pants that you bought. All that is going to matter is how you made people feel, how you treated people, and if you were happy.
Happiness is key.
Happiness is key.
Yeah.
If you feel called to live a simpler life, live a simpler life. You might be happier. If you feel called to move somewhere where it maybe scares you a little bit, you're probably supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And generally, if something scares you, it's because it was supposed to. Mm-hmm. That means that you're supposed to go in the direction where the fear is.
Agreed.
And as always, You can find me on all social media platforms as the Abigail Marie, everywhere and always. You can find the salon on there. And this has been such a nice reunion.
I think so.
I loved it.
I've had a good time.
Me too.
Okay, parting words for me. I don't know. I just want to bring home how, like I said, with my coaching clients, this is all I hear about, how people have things that they want to do, but they feel ill prepared to go do it. And I just hope that from talking to these ladies, we start to understand that, like, you're never going to feel fully ready. You're never going to feel fully competent. You're always going to have questions. And that does not go away when you open, right? The questions persist. The stress persists. You just learn to manage and take it day by day and just, you figure things out along the way. And I think one of the most important things that we can do as a society is do things like you were saying, Abby, that make us happy, because happy people, they're infectious and you want to be around them, and they make people around them happier as well. And we are struggling, like people are struggling right now. And the last thing we need is another lawyer, but the first thing we need is another happy human on the planet. And like, if you can contribute to the net happiness on the world, like even if you don't contribute to the GDP very much, like we need that way more. So that's my nugget. And you can find me, y'all already know, you can find me everywhere at just_DEE_Marie. And today we're going to ride out with a track by Carly Pearl. I'm sorry for the little raspy voice y'all got going on today. I sound like
It's sexy.
You think so?
Yeah.
Hey, girl. All right, we are listening to Head in the Clouds by Carly Pearl today. We've played her before.
Riding high down Mulholland Drive, I had too much time to sit and think about my life and all the roads that led me here. Must be doing something right, 'cause I'm feeling all these waves of tears. Ooh, hey, I'm feeling all these waves of tears, and I won't fight the waves, surrender to the chains, taking the highway to liberation. Ride it, don't stop it, baby, keep your head in the clouds. Don't stop it, baby, keep your head in the clouds. Don't stop it, baby, keep your head in the clouds. Don't stop it, baby, keep your head in the clouds. Seeing signs when I'm in alignment, red lights turning green, road to opportunity, yeah. All this time I couldn't find my peace. Well, I guess I had to learn that what scares us tends to set us free. And I won't fight the waves, surrender to the change. I'm changing, taking the highway to liberation. Ride it, don't stop it, baby, keep your head in the clouds. Don't stop it, baby, keep your head in the clouds. Don't stop it, baby, keep your head in the clouds. Don't stop it, baby, keep your head in the clouds. Keep keeping up, keep keeping your head up. Keep it up, keep it up. Just keep your head up now, baby. You're doing your best now, baby.
All right, y'all. That was Carly Pearl with Head in the Clouds. As usual, I pray you guys have love and light, health and wealth. Most importantly, strength where you need it the most. I love y'all. Take care of yourselves. and keep your head in the clouds. Keep dreaming, man, and keep knocking these goals down one by one. All right? I'll talk to y'all next week.